Guys, welcome back to another Top Show video. So we've got the upcoming Hall of Forms for the next batch, and courtesy of Joel, shout outs to Phaeology for this nice little graphic here that shows off the units. So of course we've got Baby Ike, we have Yukata Nephenee, we got Yukata Mia, and then we have Yukata Lucia there. So 3 of these units are on the same banner, and then just randomly throw Baby Ike in there for some reason. I don't even know why, because, like, if you look at the preference weapons for all of these units, Ike's is so far behind the rest of these guys. Like, Lucia, I feel like, was a little underpowered. They put a little bit too much value into her negation of specials and the feud effect, and her actual weapon effects isn't really that crazy. But then Mia and Nephenee, they actually have, like, low-key kind of modern weapons. Mia especially. Like, you just read Mia's weapon, and it's just straight up a weapon that they could release right now. We could actually show that as well. So, Summertime Axe, she's got Cancel Rem +1, -1 special trigger. All stats up 5, which is visible. It's essentially like having Fury 4 right there, which, considering some of the skills that we have right now that are doing stat checks, like Crux Ploy, Instruct, and so on and so forth, those actually work out really good when she's getting all stats of 5. So, like, this is a really good weapon, honestly. And then you get, like, potentially 30 points of true damage, 18 flat DR, 18 DR on enemy specials, which is slightly higher than the usual 15. So, like, yo, I gotta admit, man, Mia is far and away the best choice here, and melee flyer superiority, of course, because she gets Heavenly Soar and air superiority. So, yeah, if you're going to pick anyone from this batch, I would highlight Mia. In second place, I would say Nephenee, and then in third place, I've got Lucia, and in dead last, Ike. I don't even know why he's here. Once again, I reiterate, he shouldn't even be here. So, let's go ahead and take a look at these units and some skills and builds. Actually, builds, by the way. I'm reformatting the way that I'm doing these Hall of Forms builds videos, because before I would just show skills you want to pick up, but it's kind of a moot point. People really, what they want to see is actual finalized builds. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then once we run out of builds to show, then we'll show, like, other skills that may be worthwhile to try and pick up. Okay, so starting off with Mia, we already mentioned her weapon is, like, honestly a modern-day weapon. The all stats of 5 plays up really good. Not so much on the skills we're showing here, but in a moment you're going to see. So Blue Sky Gust, very good. It's just an upgrade to Blue Skies. Heavenly Soar, you go for either this or air superiority. I would say Heavenly Soar because it's giving you the true DR. Although, if you'd rather get the potent and give up the true DR, then you could go for air superiority. And then Null Uplift attack speed, which gives a party-wide drive of 5 true damage, attack and speed of 5, and then also Null Follow-Up. Mia's weapon does not have Null Follow-Up, and Null Follow-Up is just a really good skill to outsource. So that's why she's got that. And then if you feel like giving her an Echo skill, Momentum Echo, I would say for this particular build, but damn near every one of her Echo skills is pretty useful. Like, Tumultuous Echo is good. Her weapon has Canto Rem, but Canto Distant is better. So Tumultuous Echo may be a better idea. Soaring Echo is good for letting your allies warp. Sly Echo just gives you some more true damage. Distant Counter Echo if you don't want to run Distant Counter the Seal. But I would recommend just running the Seal as opposed to this, because at this point the Echo skills are stronger than the Sacred Seals. So you would be giving up much more by giving up your Echo skill for Distant Counter as opposed to giving up the Sacred Seal for Distant Counter. And then Crux Echo is pretty good too. So yeah, this would be the first build I would recommend. Then we got the second build. This is the Corrin Ring Killer. Basically, that's what this build is. You warp in with air superiority. You hit him with Trample, which you're going to hit him 3 times. You could hit him 5 times if you ran Erica Ring. But I like doing Edelgard Ring with units that have Gale Force, so you get the bonus actions. So that's an option. And then Deadly Miasma will reset all of either Corrin's tiles or the tiles from her ring. So it gives you some crazy terrain advantage there, without a better way to put it. So yeah, this would be a secondary build if you want to go for that. Okay, this one is taking advantage of the stats you're gaining from Summertime Axe. Instruct actually works out pretty favorably on Mia, because it's not that difficult to turn her into a big stat ball. We also have that Squad A seal that gives you HP 6 and attack and speed up 4, which I would say is better than just running like Life and Death 3, which would give you slightly more attack and defense, or slightly more attack and speed, but it does drop your defense and res. So having Instruct have a better chance to raise ally defense and res is better. So that's why we go for that. And then this time Soaring Echo, because why not? Celestial Form is another option for her special. She doesn't get Comet, unfortunately. So stuff like Gale Force Mist, Arc Rifle, those would be the top priorities. And then just some extra skills to go for. Strat Assault, can't really argue with that. And the combo with Strat Flame is nice. Strat Flame only gives you attack and defense, though. Would have been nice if there was a variation that gave attack and speed. But it is still worthwhile on this unit regardless, because the Flame Tile support is really good. And then Execution Breath could be another option if you don't want to go for Air Superiority or Heavenly Soar, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Because like these are basically the skills that make these melee flyers as impactful as they are at the moment. So you definitely want to go for those. And then finally, just some extra skills. Fury 4 if you want to stat ball with her even more. Crux Ploy, great skill if you've got the res to pull it off. And with her weapon giving her so much stats, it just works out. So, yeah, there we go for Summer Mia, who also is going to get a refine, too, at some point. So, yeah, like, it's just a good idea to gamble on her if you're interested. And then, even right now, she can still be doing some stuff. Okay, next up, we have the Summer Mia over here. Mia, or not Mia, the Nephenee and Sakura combo. So, their weapon is okay. Not quite as good as Mia's weapon, but it's still got some nice support going on. It gives you your allies... Let's see here. If they're in 3 rows or 3 columns centered on Nephenee, then they can nullify the enemy guard effects. They get -1 cooldown before their first attack, and then they get +10 true damage, assuming they're not on full HP. So not that difficult to activate, pretty good. They also have Fire Sweep, too, if they have more speed than the enemy. It's kind of a moot point with how many ways we have to get Null Sea Disrupt now, especially as support from a unit like Harmonic Hector and like all the other units that are giving it as support. But it can still come in handy and catch people off guard if they're not running the absolute tippy-top most meta available units. So that can be good. Their true damage is okay, but overall, though, like if you're going to run a flying Red Tome unit, my recommendation would be that Christmas Ivy over this unit. So yeah, here are the skills you want to go for. Logic, very good. Pretty much the only special to look out for on them. Attack speed, airspace, pretty good. Gives them Kanto and gives them a lot of true damage and attack and speed. Conjuring Breath, pretty good for damage. And then Strat Assault, very good support skill, which for some reason also has Crux debuffs on the enemies. It's like a crazy roll compression skill right there. All right, and then a secondary build, just some secondary options. Still pretty good, though. Aria is a very good skill, especially with high-cost specials like Logic. Speed and Res Shackle, just to get some debuffs. And then Null Uplift. Gives them Null Follow-Up, which is pretty good, and then support to all your other allies. And it's a skill that just stacks with more copies on the team. Like, the more units you've got with these Crux buffs or Crux debuffs, it just helps you out more in combat. So, very good there. And then for additional skills you may want to look out for, pretty much just delegated to the C skill, because they don't really have too many other A or B skill options, unfortunately. There were some B skill options that they could have used, but they don't really have the res to pull it off. Like, the Aerial Detect would have been an option, but they don't have the res for it. So, yeah, pretty much just C skills, and Fatal Smoke should be a potential option for them. Although, it is not that difficult to get Nullify Miracle as a support from somebody else. And then we also have Shadow Shift if you want them to be able to reposition allies after they attack. So, yeah, this would be my second place choice out of this batch. All right, next up in third place, we've got Lucia, who you could go for Johanna Lance over her own weapon. Like I said, her weapon, they put a little bit too much stock into her nullification of specials and the feud effect that she's got there. But to be completely honest, I wish her weapon itself was doing a little bit more. So Johanna Lance with the reflect damage can honestly output a lot more damage than Breezy Spear. So it is an option for sure. And we've got Duelist Blow, Execution Breath, and Attack and Speed Faith. You see this build, this is like the cookie cutter build, honestly. Remember when they showed off the top builds for Forging Bonds? and then they showed off like which units people were picking up and what skills they had. This was like the God unit cookie cutter build. Tumultuous Echo, Attack and Speed Faith, and Duelist Blow pretty much. I've got the Hardy Bearing seal on this build because Hardy Bearing shuts off Patience, and Patience is a pretty big counter to Johanna Lance and any other sort of reflect damage for that matter. Because if you're attacking the enemies before they attack you, you're not going to have any damage to reflect back at them. So Hardy Bearing just very good to have there. And then, of course, Arch Rival, Reposition Gate, should go without saying. All right, and then this one, if you want to go for her actual weapon, which is still not bad. I mean, it's hard to deny that turning off specials is a really powerful ability. But again, like I said, I just wish her weapon had a little bit more to make up for it. So, Duelist Blow, pair up Instruct, another unit that can use Instruct decently well. Her attack and speed visible should be okay enough to be able to give those as Instruct great talent buffs to your allies. So we got that going on. Swap Gate, another option to reposition Gate. This time Micaiah Ring, so you can actually swap in and get another action to do something else. And then Gale Force, because she turns off her own special as well, unfortunately. So being able to Gale Force after attacking is pretty much the only other thing you could do. I guess you could go for Pavis or Aegis, actually, if you wanted those, just to get a little bit of DR there, because those are not affected by her nullification of specials. But that's completely up to you. I would still say I'd rather just go for Gale Force, honestly. So, yeah, this is the other build. Pair Up, also a very good skill for her for stats, DR, and etc. And then just some extra skills you may want to pick up. A Distant Bonus Amp. Her weapon, base weapon, does have Distant Counter built in. But if you're going to run Johanna Lance, then Distant Bonus Amp could be helpful there. Comet, again, another good special to go for, but you wouldn't be able to run it with her own weapon because it's going to get nullified. Harrowing Call is actually pretty good with her base weapon because it does give you 80% DR on AoEs, which could be a potential weakness for her. So that's really good. And then the hit and run is also pretty nice too, and combo's very good with any Canto effects that you got going on. And then Null C Echo, of course, to just get Null C from somewhere that's not hindering your build too much, as opposed to running like, what was it, Null C Avoid, which there's so many better B skills you don't even want to run that. So yeah, there you go for some builds and skills for Lucia. And then finally we got Baby Ike, who is absolutely the run to the litter in this batch. Again, I don't even know why he's here. I didn't even like this unit when they came out, to be honest. Like, they were just pretty much duo button and that's it. Like, you pop this duo button. It made sense back then because pre-charged AoEs were the thing. But right now, that's not really the thing. People are just running like high-cost specials and they get to them on a dime. So being able to reset specials is not a big deal anymore. And yeah, I just really don't recommend this unit. Their base weapon is really bad too. So Arena Sword is their go-to option here. Again, it's just like the typical God Sword build that you'll see all the time. Duelist Blow, pair up, Faith, Tumultuous Echo. It's just cookie cutter as hell. And then Distant Counter Melee if you want to get Distant Counter on them. But if you want stats, you could go for a different seal as well, like, I don't know, Excel. Well, not Excel. Was it again Clash? Attack Speed Clash is an option. Blade Session, I guess. But they would want enemy phase stats. Also, the, what was it again? The, what was that seal that gives you HP 6 and then attack and speed up 4? I can't remember the exact code for that one. Hold on, we can find it over here because I gave it to Mia, right? Yeah, Squad Ace CW3, that's the one. You can just go ahead and run that if you want some extra stats. So yeah, very cookie cutter unit, not recommended. And then here's an alternate build if you want to just turn them into a full-on supporter. Serving Knife gives them an extra action when they pop an assist. And then the Byleth Ring will dance your ally after you pop an assist. So you can go ahead and do that. Get Favor and Instruct to give some stats. Verge of Death, which raises their visible attack and speed, giving them more of a chance to give those juicy buffs with Instruct 4 to your allies for great talent. And that's basically all she wrote for this unit. And then for extra skills, you could also get Distant Bonus Amp, Harrowing Call, Firm Canto Curb, Drawback Gate. They defaulted with Canto Curb, but Firm Canto Curb is better because it nullifies the end turn abilities. And then some extra skills as well. I don't know if Swift Spectre is available, actually. It's a pretty recent skill, so I'm not sure if it's in Hall of Forms yet. But if it is, it's actually not a bad option because it does give you Kanto Distant. Lagoo's Loyalty, an option over Pair Up if you want to get a faster special on the enemy phase. And then Pulse Tempest F, which works out pretty good. I like Pulse Tempest F in combo with Arc Rival, as well as Lagoo's Loyalty, just gets you a crazy amount of special ramping. So, yeah, there you guys go. Those are the skills and builds for the upcoming Hall of Forms. Again, I would say Mia by far in first place, followed by Nephenee, and then Lucia. And don't even think about taking this Ike. If I catch anybody picking this Ike, you're in trouble. So, this is your boy Tacho signing out. I hope you guys enjoyed the builds, and I will catch y'all again on the flip side.